Today we're drawing Elphelt Valentine in her new costume from Guilty Gear Xrd Revelator. I saw her new costume and I like that she's gone a little bit goth, as opposed to her cutesy bootsy thing she had last time. Though I do like her costume. I do like her costume and her design. I'm not saying it wasn't a good design, but I think I actually like this one a bit more. And I wanted to actually do it for my last video, but I couldn't find good reference for it, because the only picture that existed really was really blurry and really tiny. So it's like I just couldn't find anything. I just couldn't find, you know, a good picture of her design to draw. I mean, there is already fan art, and there's already fan art. I shouldn't say was. There is already fan art of her in this costume out. But yeah, I really wanted to do it because it's kind of it's another one of those let's do a challenge thing, but it's also sort of in like, this is gonna sound kind of funny. My bread and butter kind of is drawing busty girls. So it's like busty girls and biopunk. Pretty much describes what I enjoy drawing. So when you combine the two, it's all the much better. So we're gonna be drawing her. We're gonna be drawing Elphelt. She has, like, the new part of her design is this giant steel spiked collar that puts, like, the spikes Bowser wears to shame. So we're gonna I think her shoulder. The only thing I can't see are her shoulders because of her pose, but I think her shoulders are just big poofy bits. I'm doing sort of a standard. You know, we're gonna change this a bit. I'm sort of doing a standard pose for her, but we're gonna be doing it. I mean, it's fine to do like standard poses for characters. Yeah, and this video is gonna be kind of late because I'm working on. I'm referring to it as my secret project because I haven't told. I've only told a couple friends and my brother about it, and it's gonna be something related to what I'm gonna start doing on my blog and on my channels coming up. Mostly this channel though, because it's a general channel rather than a gaming channel like my other one. And it's gonna be related to what I'm gonna start posting in the next month or so. I just have to like sit down and actually do what I wanna get started in on coming up, and it's just something where I have to sit down and do it, and then it'll sort of make sense when the actual secret project gets finished and posted and stuff. The Patreon idea I have coming up is also going to be tangentially related to it, at least initially. The Patreon idea is going to be well, Patreon, I'm going to do the standard thing that artists do where they they post, like, I'm gonna be doing it with the basic thing is gonna be getting to see videos ahead of time. For, I mean, I don't know that anyone's really all that interested in what I'm posting video wise, but yeah, it's gonna be that standard. I'll post videos for both channels early on Patreon. Basically unlisted, basically making them unlisted videos from on YouTube, and then they'll be listed videos after like a couple days or even a week. And it's gonna essentially require me to make about I think a dozen videos ahead of time though. Okay, so she has like frilly, her like skirt down here is all. So we are actually going to, because I want more space. I want more space to draw her stuff in here. We're actually going to do that because also all this detail down here needs to be a little bit lower, just a little bit, because there's her dress is like got this really torn up bit, sort of like this part is frilly and torn up, kinda. Now we're gonna put her leg back in, top of her boot. So I'm gonna be doing the standard Patreon thing initially with, like I said, releasing videos early on the actual service. Oh, she has like plates here. And there's also the symbol right here. We'll put in more detail later. And I want to have 10 videos before I actually post stuff for Patreon. I want to have like a little base going before I fully commit to asking people for money, just to show a little that I have a little consistency in what I'm doing right now. And it's going to be a mix. Like, I have the gaming channel already, and I haven't posted a video there in like a week because I'm doing the videos here. So it's like I have like games set up I want to play. I just have to also get to playing them. Her face I'm saving for last because I want to do a couple. I actually want to do a couple facial feature sets for her. So we're saving the face for last. For this video in particular, I'm not gonna do this video though. I don't know if I'm gonna quite get to doing it as a like 3-hour 3-video set. I may just have big cuts in here just to skip through stuff, and so it's not as boring. Oh whoops! I think that's supposed to be that's supposed to be in that ear. I did it right even reverse. Asymmetrical costumes in fighting games always seem a little silly to me, because it's like unless it's like Mortal Kombat and you actually have legit 3D, you kind of end up with we're gonna have her background be lighter than usual. You kind of end up with like legitimate 3D. You can have asymmetrical costumes and it doesn't like stick out like a sore thumb. But when you have like a 2D fighting game or a 2.5D fighting game like Guilty Gear is now, asymmetrical costumes are a little jarring. But it's like I actually think one of the things they should have done with Xrd is just have the the costumes flip, have the characters flip. I mean, you can have the 2D. You can basically have your cake and eat it too with doing this game in 3D, because you can still have it be Guilty Gear, and they could have just easily had everything register on the flat plane, but have the characters turned around. I mean, it can't be that hard to do, in my opinion. Watch someone out there, like the one time I say something like that, someone out there is going to be super knowledgeable about it, and they're going to see, no, James, you're wrong. Actually, you can't do it that way. Not to sound super dismissive of someone who probably actually knows more about coding a game coding a game up than I do. But still, it's like, I think they could have actually done I still think they actually could have done like proper 3D on the characters. You know, I think I want to do something different on this one. Now I'm really thinking about it. So I'm actually going to trash these. I'm going to drop it down even more. Excuse me. So we're gonna do tighter than I would normally do line work. I want to try something. I saw, ironically enough, on someone else's Elphelt, they had a pretty interesting way of doing their color and their shading, and I think I'm gonna, like, it just dawned on me I should try doing it like that. So what we're gonna do here, and I'm not gonna be super tight on my line work, because I mean this is me, so I'm probably gonna go back in even after I do this method of doing the shadows and shading and stuff, and sort of noodle on things to push the line work back. But yeah, I'm gonna try out this concept I saw. Okay, I think I'm actually gonna have to do this ellipse. How many fucking strokes are on that? Okay. Nope. 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 Not really. Ellipses are hard. Yeah. I didn't want to shade that in. I got it. Ellipses are really, really difficult. I'm just gonna come out and say it right now. I'm sure anyone that's tried to draw them knows, like, oh yeah, totally super difficult to do, actually. Totally super difficult to do, because it's like, especially on something like this where technically this ellipse down here should actually have like a lower edge than this top ellipse, and I don't actually think that's working right. Nope, it's flattened out at the end. Trashed. Wait a second. No, I didn't do that. Oh, god damn it. I thought I had a new layer still. I'm pretty tired today. In all honesty. I'm not gonna lie. I am pretty tired today. You know, and you know what? Forget doing it like that. Hang on a sec. I am absolutely constructing her collar like this. Oops, I wanted that on its own layer. So yeah, the Patreon is going to be up in a week or two. I know I should just do it, just put it up regardless of what I've got right now. But I actually don't want to just throw it up there and have, you know, nothing. Or close to nothing. But my idea, I mentioned the low tier idea would just be early videos for anyone interested in the early videos. And then my higher tier ideas would actually involve gifts. Gifts. Not gifts. Gifts. With a T at the end. Though again, I don't actually know how many people would want things, gifts of things I make. Because I do things other than art. Specifically, I can knit, but and I do plan on showing off how to knit, but that's like a whole video series unto itself. You know, I probably should have constructed this whole collar, just including the lock on the back and the spikes, so it doesn't look super out of place that I have these very mechanical lines with my like really rushy and loose pen strokes, brush strokes. But I think it's fine. I'm not actually that worried about that, because like I said, I'm going to go back over this all, I think. And like I said, I'm going to do this weird shading technique I saw. And I think I will, if I remember, link to it with the to the blog post I saw. I mean, it's me, so it's probably going to be a terrible rendition of that, the concept and how to do it. But if it results in something fast, then hey, it could become a regular thing. But part of my secret project, the lead up I have for it that I wanted to do, would also be related to Patreon. And it would be involving people in the high, like anyone that goes into the higher tiers on the Patreon page would get special things related to this concept that I would eventually roll into the secret project. Incidentally, this is the first time also I'm mentioning that I'm working on some sort of project in secret publicly. I mean, I don't know how many people actually care, but it matters to me, so I'm talking about it on my channel. Yeah, it looks like she just has a lot of bits on her costume that are purposely given like a torn up look. Yeah, I'm probably gonna go in and do better fills on the blacks, because right now it's very pen strokey. Elphelt looks extremely thin, but I think it has to do with the fact that her dress, I guess you could still call it a dress. Her dress is very it's got a very big like bob to it. Like there's an armature going on, like a Victorian gown. Oh, also, no one's actually answered my question from last time. No one has actually attempted to guess the quote from last time. I mean, all 4 of the viewers who actually viewed this video, none of them actually bothered to try and answer. I'm still not gonna answer. I'm not actually gonna say where that quote is from. Someone else is gonna have to do it. I'm not even gonna quote the quote again because I'm forcing anyone who wants to know the quote to go watch the previous video with Zappa. Zappa number 3 has the quote. And yes, if you guess it, you do indeed get to pick the next thing. That would be another thing I'd set up on Patreon. For anyone who would be interested, you'd get to make requests of me to draw stuff. And I would even consider private live streams and stuff for anyone who would want that. I mean, I don't know why anyone would want a private live stream of me babbling like this, but I may make it a thing. I mean, I think I'm going to be doing... Oh, that's what that is. Okay. See, I'm watching her design here, and I'm like, okay, there are certain aspects of it I find awkward and odd, because, I mean, it's a Guilty Gear design, so you got that. You kind of got to deal with that. So, she actually has... Okay, I see what this is now. This actually comes to a point because these lines are actually the coat coming through here. Oh, the only thing I'm not confused is how some of this connects together as well. Because there's like this belt here. I don't know if anyone can actually see that belt there. Right there. Right there. I have no idea what the purpose of that belt is. Now, is her arm long enough? Yeah, it's looking a little... Yeah, I'm not doing any major thick to thin work right now. At least not yet. At least her gloves aren't something weird. I'll give points to that. They're just fingerless gloves. I mean, she has giant like buckles on the backs, but I can live with giant buckles. At least they aren't something weird. Because when I was looking at the Vast Edge artwork, because you know the Zappa Vast Edge thing was previous, it's like I looked at Soul's gloves and he has the weirdest coloration on those damn gloves. They're like half white, half black, and it's just like, man, these would be... I was looking at them and I was like, man, these gloves would be the biggest pain in the ass to draw. Soul actually I think would be a pretty pain in the ass character to draw, actually. I know some people out there may not may not get why, but it's like he's got like this level of iconicness mixed with this level of complexity that's just like, it's got to be mind-numbing to actually do artwork for Soul Bad Guy. It'd be like trying to draw Mario in like not Mario style. And trying to make it like very, very Mario-ish. I don't know if I could actually draw Mario. Mario is in Mario Brothers Mario. It's like I don't know if I could do it, in all honesty. This hand is driving me insane as well. I picked the dumbest, weirdest position for this hand to be in. Her fingers look awful. Just absolutely awful. You know, I actually kind of wish she had her other hands, because she had gloves on, and you can absolutely fake gloves on a person's hands. Gloves allow you to fake hands. I mean, luckily she has all black gloves on, so you can actually do a little fakery with that then. And then this is all black as well. You know, I probably shouldn't have done any of that, now that I'm thinking about it. Alright, forgot she's a giant frickin' spike on her glove, 'cause spikes. Actually, she has several. Okay, now that I'm actually looking at these gloves, they've actually dropped a level of sense, because they have spikes all around the wrist. I'm drawing the second one now, and it's like they have spikes all around the wrist, and it's like, wait a second, how does she buckle the damn gloves? Because there's a buckle, and a spike is going through the buckle. How does she buckle these things? All sorts of logical questions are just coming to my head about this costume now. I think the only logical answer is Japan. It's just one of those costumes that like you'd only really see in like a Japanese game. Just most ridiculous combination of stuff that looks pretty cool but is completely and totally impractical. Odds are it includes belts. Do we got belts? Of course we got belts. Now, even though this is the dark Elphelt, I guess you would say, I'm gonna have her practice proper trigger safety, so she doesn't actually have the trigger on her gun, her finger on the trigger on her gun. What I said made sense. Everyone else is crazy. They heard otherwise. She has a spike crown. She apparently just took like the tops of some fence posts, just stuck it on a headband. Now, the previous Elphelt had a heart theme, kinda. Sort of like a love theme. This one seems to have a four-leaf clover theme. A luck theme. Makes me wonder if they're gonna go through, like, all the... She's at clubs this time, more or less. So, what, are we gonna go through all the cards? Card suits? Ugh. Stop being bad, hands. Oh, that doesn't make sense. Yeah. What do the tops of her ears look like? Let me grab my mouse and move this picture around. Okay, they are kind of rounded off. And they have the little symbols on the tips. Yep, like I said, I'm going to be doing multiple faces for her. I am going to go in and really clean up things as I go, but we're gonna lay down some flat colors for her. We're actually gonna do it underneath the quote-unquote lines. I say quote-unquote lines because it's not real line work. I didn't do any... There's no penmanship to it. There's no... I would even hazard to say there isn't really skill to the lines I just did. There we go. Like, why am I painting over the... Oh, right. Now, I actually want these flats to be very consistent, so we're going to go in here and just turn off other dynamics. We're just going to be using the most brutally flat brush we can get. And I'm going into the other areas because we're just gonna overlap the tones on this. Skin tone should be last, I think, on her hand. Over there. Over here we can just throw it down. Yeah, for anyone watching, this is not gonna be the final lines. I have to emphasize that a lot because there's zero thick to thin. There's zero finesse. or ability on the line work. This ear is a piece of poop. It is in the weirdest angle for me to draw. Like, no matter which... Okay, this is probably the best angle for it. But it's like, no matter which way it was facing, it's just a horrible angle to draw it in. And you know what? I actually think... I don't want to do it that heavy either. Because... Man, we're going way back in the history. I am going to grab black, though, for this. I'm going to start with... Because the blacks... I think I'd like to just start putting in some tone for it. So I had a good angle on flipping it upside down. And for anyone wondering, I've never been a fan of doing like a very ink-like brush. I've always been a fan of using it more like a paintbrush or a marker in Photoshop. And I'm not steady enough or patient enough to do actual like ink like pseudo inking that you can do in Photoshop. I have zero patience for actually sitting down and doing like pseudo inks. So whenever I do pretty much anything in Photoshop, it's always going to come out as a painting. And actually my number of strokes per area is like, this is a heavily reduced version from what it was a few years ago, because I used to whenever I used to sketch, like when I was really starting out, this is like high school, early college, I'd be like this, just like every line would be a million lines. And now it's like I've reduced it to maybe every line is 4 lines, just by forcing my hand to stay steady and like forcing myself to stop doing that. I'm not even joking. That's just really how I've been drawing my entire life. Really, I'm honestly surprised people let me draw. Like, looking back at my old artwork, I'm just like cringing. I cringed when I saw what my graduation portfolio was. Now, I'm sure... Oh, I accidentally took those strokes out. I'm sure that happened with... No, wait, that is a finger. I'm sure that happened with everyone who does art, and they look back at something that's like bordering on 10 years old, and it's like, wow, what in the hell was I thinking, and why didn't anyone stop me? Actually, that's... What the hell was I thinking, and why didn't anyone stop me is probably the most accurate quote regarding my college experience making artwork. I'm not even joking on that. That is exactly how I feel about it. Now, the more I think about it, the more I'm like, you know what? That is exactly how I feel about the artwork I made in college. What the hell was I thinking? Why didn't anyone stop me? I mean, hell, that's how I feel about artwork I've seen like that's a month old. So much for remaking this a quicker video. There's just a lot of stuff about Elphelt's design you have to put in. And that's true pretty much every Guilty Gear character, I guess. You know, now that I'm thinking about it, I probably should have saved the blacks for last, because I could have used it. I think, well, actually, you know what? I think I'm gonna have to do the gray of her dress underneath, on a layer underneath the black of the belts and junk. And this belt actually has ringlets on it, and I'll put those in last. Cause, oh god, that belt is horrible. It's like looping this way and then going straight. Ugh, ugh. It's a little crap like that that annoys me whenever I'm drawing, and I go back and look at it, I'm like, ugh, ugh. Like, this line is all janky, too, because I had to erase in there a million times. Yeah, this belt right here actually has a little more out like that. And I do want to make one change. Oh, I just shaded that in, didn't I? Eh, whatever, that's fine. Yeah, we're gonna Now you may note that despite the fact that I am... God, it still looks terrible. I think it's because it's one of those angles that I just never be able to get with my hand unless I change the... Oh, come on, Photoshop. Get your ass in gear. Come on, computer, get your fucking ass in gear. go up here. We're going to put a little more black on the back of the ear, just to thicken it up a little bit to match the other one. I'm actually just going to grab this gray and... You know what? No. First things first. Her dress is predominantly white, so we're actually gonna... You know, we're gonna have to do this probably on 2 layers, I think. We're basically gonna fill in her dress. We're doing it by hand. Technically you could lasso and fill, but I mean I'm gonna be going over this pretty extensively afterwards anyways, just to, like, that janky line definitely needs to go, that janky line definitely needs to go. But I'm going to do that when I get to my actual painting part. Because despite the fact I'm going to try something with my initial grayscale, I'm also going to do some pretty standard stuff I normally do when I paint. I just realized her ears are actually... Her ears are a different color than the rest of her. Yeah, even, oh god damn it, even drawing on a Cintiq, it's hard to get comfortable hand angles sometimes, to the point where it actually annoys me. Come on. Okay, so you know what, I'm gonna finish doing all the fill work, and then we'll be back next time to finish off Elphelt. Maybe. It depends. Depending on how fast this goes, it'll... Yeah, we'll just see how fast this goes. Because if it's a good method for... If it's a good method for doing this, then we will definitely consider using it in the future. But if it turns out to be just not so good, then yeah, we won't bother attempting to do it again in the future. So thanks for watching, everyone. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you guys next time.